Gotcha.
Action.
Go ahead.
And action.
Action.
1, 2, 3. That's your advanced menu. Now, the reason you need to know what the label sensor to pill tip distance is, we can move this label sensor. We are going to put on a clear label sensor. And by putting on a clear label sensor, we're going to read any type of label you have, and you can use that sensor all day long. You can use it for any product. But it's going to be in a different position than here. Right now, this label sensor is 5 inches from the end, if we measured it. Okay? When we put our clear label sensor, it's going to be mounted up here. It's going to be closer to 11 inches. So we would need to say, my label sensor to peel tip is more like 11 inches. We would measure it. And the reason we do that is if you're ever missing a label, it would advance it and put the right label in position. So I'm going to feed a label. I'm going to feed a label. I'm going to feed a label. When I feed this label, it's going to shoot through the gap and put the next label in position. Okay? If you had that wrong, it would put the wrong label in position. You'd actually feed out 2 labels. So if we were running this label sensor and we left it at 11 inches, it would spit through out 2 labels and then miss a product later on because it thinks the gap is a label. All it means is we can move that label sensor anywhere we want as long as we tell it where it is.
Gotcha.
Label repeat length. This is calibrated when we calibrate labels. It's usually within, I mean, that's a 100th of an inch. So it's 3.32, 3.34, big deal. This is how much power is being used by the sensor, which again is automatically calibrated. When you do calibrate it, it's automatically adjusted to what you need. Now later on, let's say you get some labels stuck in there and all of a sudden this number's up in the 60s.
Right.
That means you got a block, there's a problem.
Okay.
We have to fix that. But normally it's going to be between like 18 and 35.
18 and 35.
Label sensor edge. Label sensor edge. Label sensor, we're going to use lead edge. Everything we based is off of that lead edge.
Okay.
Normal. Unless we have an uneven lead edge, we would always use lead edge.
Okay. Well, what do you mean a lead edge?
Lead edge.
This
As
right
it's
here
traveling,
down.
the front part is the lead.
Okay, gotcha.
So if we had an uneven, let's say we were running a product, so let me grab a label here.
Just like ground or...
Yeah, let's say we were running a label and the lead edge looked like that.
Okay,
well, if
so
we could get it right there in the same place every time, we would use lead edge. If it was totally round, we'd probably use
okay.
it was straight.
Okay,
so
gotcha.
it's running through this way, lead edge.
Gotcha.
Whatever's consistent. Sometimes people will have a triangle in the front. So we'd want to go trail edge because it's flat.
Right.
Whatever you can control. The main thing about labeling is control. Control your product, control your label. Everything else will be easier. Okay.
Cool.
Label detected. Yes. When I'm traveling through here, watch my LED. My LED went off. I'm between labels. I now know I'm between labels, so it's a no. So now if I go ahead and leave it on there. Once I go through here and I start seeing stuff, it's going to say yes. And it's going to track that all the way through until it doesn't see it anymore. Now, in this case of this label, it thinks just this is the label.
Right.
But that's okay. It thinks the gap is that big.
Okay.
So it thinks that this clear part plus the gap plus the other clear part is the gap, and that's okay. You can have a big gap.
And this automatic.
All automatic reads that. Label stop position. Remember in the other menu it was there?
Right.
What's also in this menu so you're not flipping back and forth.
Okay, cool, cool.
Labeling speed, same thing. Both menus, you're not flipping back and forth. Slew speed. Remember when I was feeding a label and all of a sudden it sped up really quick?
Yeah, yeah.
That's slew speed.
Okay.
Catch-up speed. So somewhere along the line, some engineer or some software programmer said this is slew. It means something. I suppose if we look it up in a dictionary, it might mean catch-up or something.
Okay.
Not catch up the condiment. Catch up like catch.
Gotcha.
Consecutive missing labels. If we have 3 labels missing in a row, we'll shut down.
Okay, I see.
And it happens sometimes when you splice
Right, right.
Or when you're placing a new roll in, you'll have 3 missing in a row, so it'll
Serious.
stop and it'll say missing label.
Okay, so we try to keep it as close as we
Then
can.
if once you get an error, you press enter, and then you feed again, and you can continue to do it to get that in position.
Gotcha.
If you have consecutive broken web, what? Pause it. Part 2.
Part 2.
Advanced menu. Consecutive broken web means that the drive roller was turning, because remember, we calibrated. It knows exactly where it's going.
Right, right.
If the drive roller is turning, but the label sensor does not see what it thinks it should see, you get broken web. It doesn't mean it's tore. It just means that the drive roller moved, and we didn't see what we thought we should see with this label sensor. That's what broken web. I wish it would call it like a sensor error, but it could be anything. But they called it broken web. Product sensor edge, that's a product sensor. As we come through, we break the beam on the lead edge. We start our counts from there. Break the beam, we start counting 7.4 inches, then the label sensor the labeler starts feeding.
Gotcha.
Product detected, yes, no. Now they have something I can trigger it with. Yes, no. Just means we're triggered. You notice that there's an orange and a green light on there? If we aren't seeing our reflector, we will not see
No problem.
the orange.
Okay, that's it.
That'll be your number 1 call out here. Somebody knocked that.
If what?
That'll probably be your number 1 call out here.
Yeah, how?
Somebody knocked it out of place. Oh, when they thread it up.
So what is it reflecting off of?
Reflector down there.
Sí, aquí está lo colgado todo.
Oh, I see it there. Okay, I didn't see it.
That's for the top label only.
Okay.
The bottom label, the reflector's right here, the sensor's on the other side.
Oh, okay.
So same thing though, you have to see orange
Este es lo otro.
and green for it to work.
Pero ese viene siendo para esto.
So this is the sensor itself here? Where's the sensor at on this
Directly
one?
across from here.
Okay, I see it now.
It's on
Okay,
here.
I see it there. Okay. Alrighty. Got that.
Label on product position, again, that's when we break our sensor beam, we travel 7.4 inches, then the labeler starts to feed. It's in
Okay.
both menus, so you don't have to flip back and forth
Okay.
between menus. So when you're over here setting up, if it's not just an operator setting, you're actually doing some major changes, you'd be in this menu. But normally, you don't have to. You could change almost any label, any position, without being in this menu. Unless you change a major setup, like the sensor, if you use the clear label sensor versus the standard sensor.
Okay, cool.
Which so far, if this is what the way your label looks like, you won't need your clear sensor. But it is nice as a backup. So,
Cool.
product detector lockout. What can happen with, could you have me a product, please? Once in a while, you can get either a reflection off of these, or you can see through areas
Okay.
as it's coming through. So you could lock out the area. So you'd measure your product plus maybe an inch, and that way, it will, once it triggers the first time, starts applying your label, it's going to ignore any other triggers. If you do get more triggers while it's busy applying a label, it'll just say unlabeled product across the bottom. That just means that I triggered so fast that I could not, I could down mine, but it means I would trigger it so fast that it was not able to act on it. But you also don't want to trigger on the end and spit out another label too early.
Correct.
So we lock out. This is about 6 inches, a little over 6, almost 7. So just a little bit more. So you're locking out a window of 7 inches once I trigger it, which is nice to have on a clear product.
Cool.
Well, this is the one I broke. Recall parameter again. You can recall it in this menu, but this is the only menu.
The other thing that you said here, we're gonna set this up for each tray or each product or no?
Yeah, we'll save each product to its
each
own
page.
page.
Okay.
For the most part, they're going to be the same,
7.
but there might be some slight variations. Now, even though we have these things as solid settings, like label on product position, if that photo eye gets moved, it gets thrown out of the water. But at least you're back to a 0 point.
Right. Gotcha.
That's key.
¿Sí le entiendes?
So we're at the bottom. Save parameter, that's where we would save it. Now we haven't made changes, so we're not going to save it. Stop. Cut.
Cut.